Jake Green, Jason Statham, is in jail in isolation for a considerable length of time. He has two puzzling characters serving single in cells on one or the other side of him, one a swindler, the other a chess ace. While in singular, Jake and the other two trade considerations on chess and the ideal con through transcribed messages slipped within temporary books that the three offer. Jake comes to get familiar with the makings of an ideal con, however never completely gets a handle on its profundity and significance to him until a whole lot later. Throughout these trades, Jake uncovers a ton about himself to the next two. Jake never meets these two men eye to eye. The two detainees intend to break out of jail and consent to break Jake out also. The following day, the two departure, abandoning Jake. He feels cheated. Jake stays in jail while the two got away from convicts take all the cash Jake had stowed away outwardly. They entrusted Jake with the recipe. Jake confided in them concerning the whereabouts of his money, a parcel of cash. They take the cash, leaving in its place a message on a card. The principal rule of any game: you can get more intelligent by playing a more astute rival. Sliced to 2 years after the fact. At the point when Jake escapes jail, broke and poor, he begins to rehearse what he comprehends of the recipe and of the con he gained from his time in loan. It's exceptionally effective and he does very well in universe of betting. He apparently gained an important illustration from the two con men inside. When Jake is up on his feet once more, monetarily talking, he takes on his adversary, the power-hungry Dorothy Matcha, Beam Liotta. Jake enters Matcha's club with his siblings close behind, and is quickly brought before Matcha to play a shot in the dark. In transit to Matcha's down, they should accept a lift up 22 stories, where it is uncovered Jake experiences outrageous claustrophobia following his years in singular, and should stifle a mental breakdown to make the excursion. At the game, Jake beats him in a toss of the dice, embarrassing Matcha. Dreading business as usual, Matcha needs vengeance and orders a hit on Jake. As Jake and his siblings leave the club, Jake is moved toward by a strange man, Zach, who offers him help and gives him a note perusing, "Take the lift." Jake can't confront the return venture and picks to use the stairwell, yet shuts down suddenly, tumbles down the steps and is raced to the medical clinic. The specialists report he is exceptionally sick yet don't uncover why he had the power outage. Matcha puts out the request for a hit on Jake, asking expert assassin sorter, Imprint Solid, to deal with things. Jake gets back, without Billy, to be invited by one of Matcha's hits. Jake is the one in particular who gets by, being saved by the secretive Zach. Sorter is bewildered by Jake's departure and endurance, not used to his hits turning out badly, which prompts a calm, extraordinary course of self-addressing in the generally impassive executioner. Zach takes Jake to his similarly baffling accomplice, Avi, who delivers the aftereffects of his clinic tests and illuminates him that he is in frantic actual difficulty from an interior sickness, with just 3 days to live. He tells Jake he and his accomplice can save him from both Matcha and his actual sustenance. All the while, Matcha is attempting to get into business with the notorious, yet clearly imperceptible Sam Gold. He makes an arrangement with his female delegate Lily Walker, who addresses the sovereign on the chessboard. Matcha is cautioned on the off chance that he doesn't come through on the arrangement that Sam Gold will be extremely frustrated. Matcha is after the compensation of being ready to go with Gold, who addresses the rival, and predicts no issue. The arrangement is for some white powder, which addresses bad habit of various appearances, at the end of the day, bogus ways of getting away from the fury of Gold or dominate the match, yet unreasonably these simply carry you nearer to him. Jake consents to do anything that the two baffling characters instruct him to do, a weapon to the head in a manner of speaking. He has 3 days to live, there is no opportunity to wrangle, and he is ready to do whatever he's told by these characters. Avi, Andre Benjamin, and Zach, Vincent Pastor, seem, by all accounts, to be predatory lenders and step-by-step force Jake to offer all his cash that he made utilizing the con, causing him a deep sense of sadness. This is excruciating to such an extent that it is by all accounts killing a piece of him, as Avi and Zach compel him to do anything that he despises doing. Jake is over and over constrained into lifts, taking him on a physiological and mental ride from damnation. They likewise harm Matcha's arrangement with Gold, placing Matcha in peril with Gold and constraining Matcha to look for the powder from an opponent kingpin, Master John, Tom Wu. To exacerbate the situation, right now we comprehend that the voice we hear in the film as a voiceover isn't a voiceover by any means, it's the Sam Gold in every one of the characters' heads. Matcha is being filled out by the voice in his mind that urges Matcha to assume the acknowledgement. To vanquish the game that Jake currently acknowledges he is in, he goes to Matcha and embarrasses himself, asking for absolution at the foot of his bed. This goes totally against the voice in Jake's mind, which is presently in significant misery. Leaving Matcha's room, Jake takes a lift that stalls out. His most dreaded fear, as he is claustrophobic, yet here is where a genuine fight happens. Jake actuates the aggravation, Sam Gold takes cover behind. Sam Gold attempts each method to control and cripple Jake, however Jake is presently withdrawn enough from the voice to get bulldozed. Embrace the aggravation and you will dominate this match. In doing this, Jake totally sheds himself of Sam Gold. Promptly after doing as such, the lift fires up. He understands that however liberated from the actual jail he knew for a long time, he was as yet a detainee of his own psyche. After confronting and overcoming his trepidation, he is significantly free. As the lift entryways open, there stands a befuddled and irate Matcha with a firearm in his grasp. He can't comprehend what game Jake is playing, yet Jake no longer thinks often about Matcha. Firearm or no weapon, Jake strolls straight past Matcha. Since Jake no longer feelings of dread him, Matcha separates. His inner self can't deal with this, he succumbs to the voice he hears inside his head, the voice of his own Sam Gold. Still ignorant about who Sam Gold truly is, and where he lives, Matcha struggles with his insight that Sam Gold will come and get him. What he doesn't understand is that Sam Gold is as of now getting him, from within. Jake makes a huge gift of cash to a foundation in Matcha's name, further overcoming the Sam Gold inside him, while expanding the Sam Gold inside Matcha, who joyfully assumes the praise and public recognition. Matcha is at first unselfish towards Jake following this signal, but on discovering that Jake had arranged the harm on the powder bargains, Matcha orders him dead with recharged force. Matcha's men track down Jake's sibling and niece at his home. While Matcha's partners in crime are currently tormenting Jake's sibling and undermining his daughter, the already aloof sorter closes his course of self-addressing and steps in, purposefully executing Matcha's men just to be all outgunned eventually by the last enduring individual from the posse, who returns Jake's niece to Matcha. Jake, presently understanding that the puzzling characters Avi and Zach are not who he thought they were, completes a round of chess in Matcha's gambling club with Avi. Here it is uncovered that Avi might have beaten him out of the blue. Avi lets him know one of the standards once more, the workmanship is for the ad.